Okay, hello.
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. That's really weird to say, actually.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for coming. Hope you guys had a great New Year. Let us know how 2025 is going for you guys so far. We're actually only at January 5th, and that's the weird part.
5 days.
Yes, it does not feel like it's been 5 days. Oh no.
You've got to.
Yeah.
We've got 5 whole days under our belt for 2025.
All right. Hey, Lynette Lawrence, thank you so much for being here in Canadian Family Life. Thank you so much for coming. Lorrie's World and Andale Homestead, thank you so much for being here. These are our coordinators. Miss Lorrie heads the Canada aspect of the collaboration, and Miss Anne handles the southern US part of the collaboration, dealing with watching people's videos and shouting them out. So thank you both for all you do. Hey, Miss Christy, thank you so much for coming. And Jen's Hobby Nook, it's great to see you. Bushcraft Family, this is a co-host who deals with the herbal side of the collaboration. Thank you so much for being here. Where did I go? Hey, Rudy Araheta and Bubble Bibble, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Woman Off Grid with Dog and Off Grid World.
Hello, thank you so much for coming. And I think we're caught up. We did it. Okay, so there was a few things I wanted to bring up. It is officially 2025, which means this is the first week of live streams in which we are in season, which means we're going to have interviews and cooler things going on with the collaboration as far as shouting out videos and sending out more seeds to people. I did not get anything sent out last week because last week was right in between Christmas and New Year's and it was busy. But I will get the new batch of seeds sent out to everyone tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be our next mailing day, and if you are in the continental US, I don't know why I say continental, but if you are in the US and you are a collaborator and you don't have your seeds yet, it is probably because I haven't sent it to you because they didn't do anything last week. But I'll get those sent out tomorrow. And if if you know that you've had your entry video up for more than 2 weeks and the seeds aren't there, then yours are probably hiding.
Lost in the mail.
We're having this issue where the seeds that we sent are getting lost in the mail, specifically with Miss Deanna. Her seeds still are not there. So she actually bought her own seeds that were similar. And if you would like to go find out about that, go watch her video. I was watching her Dee's Garden Adventures. She has a really good video on it. But we talked through email, and it is okay if your seeds aren't coming and you need to be planting like right now to just pick something that's the same family. The seeds are the traveling seeds. They're gonna see more places in America than I have.
Yeah,
this is what's happening.
Last year we sent a package to, I think, the Bull's Garden. We had to send his 3 times, and 2 of them got to him. And actually,
one came back.
One of them came back like the entire season later, and it had markings that it had been to Florida. It had been to how many places?
A ton of places.
All over the place.
Hey, Mike's Chaotic Gardening, thank you so much for being here. I saw your entry video. Thank you so much for joining. I found all of them in what I already had. Some I had forgotten I even had. That was so cool. Like the ones you picked, I really like the idea of the nocturne peppers. That was a very good choice.
Peppers?
Yep. So if you want to find out what she did, go check out her video. Hey, Southwest Living with Val, I saw your entry video. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, so
I did everything this week.
She's out of school, and I have finals coming up in a couple weeks, so I'm really cramming right now. And so she took over on watching all of the Northern videos for me, since I'm one of the coordinators. She took over for me this week because I was really busy, and she's going off at it. She's not.
It makes me excited. These are people that I really like.
So now you get to share in the excitement that us coordinators get to have.
Right. Hey, Kentucky woman Carlene, thanks so much for joining us. Oh, that's Nightbot. Never mind.
Hi, Nightbot.
Hi, Nightbot.
Thanks.
So the CEO of Rainbow Seeds, that's awesome. I need to go visit them. They're so close. They actually do have some locations, I think, on their Facebook I saw. But I don't live in Canada, so I don't know where anything is. Trie, good luck with finals.
Thank you.
I think
I will need it.
You will need it. She's in junior year, and junior year was literally the worst year of school for me.
Winter break ends tomorrow, and then I have 2 weeks left of this semester.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so literally in 2 weeks, I will have all of my finals done, and I will see if I have passed or if I will never graduate high school. Fun.
Hey, Troy Sutton. I was in a couple lives yesterday and I saw that your esophagus surgery went really well. I'm really happy that happened. Hope you feel better. But that's great. That was phrased really weird. Okay, so there was a few things I wanted to bring up before we invite up our co-hosts and collaborators.
Making me look short. Stop sitting so tall.
Sorry. I'm just gonna open a new tab really quick. Okay, so it is officially 2025. That's yes, this is what I wanted to talk about, right? And right here, this is the website for the Survival Seeds collab. This little first section here is everything you need to be able to submit a video. If you would like to join Survival Seeds, you're going to head to the join page and you got to read everything that I wrote. There's a video that says it a little bit longer, but it's easier to understand. So the video is right here. If you're already a collaborator and you have a video to share, some examples of this, I was looking at the videos for this week. Angel's podcast did an unboxing review from Rainbow Seeds. She ordered one of the survival seed banks, which I do want to make clear is not affiliated with us in any way. The name over, it's totally coincidental. So the survival seeds bank from Rainbow Seeds is not us. But she bought one of those. And she did an unboxing video, and it was a really good video, and like everything in there looks so cool. Like I'm not even kidding. There's like so many kinds of tomatoes, and that was my favorite part because I like tomatoes. But watch the video. She was like talking about her grandmother, and like the way she tells stories is amazing. Like I really loved listening to her. But Angel's podcast, she had her entry video, and this was another video. And if you had another video like that, or if you are Miss Deanna, for example, who had a couple videos come out about that her seeds weren't here, and she was talking about survival seeds. If you are already a collaborator and you have a video to share, I look through the survival seeds hashtag, that is survival seeds 2025. But as the season goes on, there's going to be more videos in that hashtag. And YouTube did this thing where none of it is in order. So it gets really hard to see what's in the hashtag. So if you want to make sure we see your video, use this second thing here. It says, use this link here to submit your non-entry video to be put in playlist in the giveaway wheel. And if you click that link, it takes you to this Google form. And I just need your email, your channel name, and the link to the video. And then you just got to tell me if it's a short or a long video, because there are two different giveaways for shorts and long videos. But it's a super easy form to fill out, and it just makes sure that if the hashtag is super full, I can see your video, because you submitting it sends an email notification to me, and then I can go watch it.
Yep.
So if you want to make sure that we can shout out your video, just click that link. And also, when we send out the seeds to you, if you are in the US, I don't know if you're in Canada. I haven't asked Miss Lorrie. There's a link to this PDF here, and if you click on this, this is just the PDF that we made. It gives you information about the people who run the collaboration, and it gives you some emails if you have any questions. And it also gives you information about the seeds that we sent. All of these seeds were provided by, all of these seeds are seeds that we bought from Rainbow Seeds. And Rainbow Seeds is a really good company. The quality of their seeds is really good. And we have some information here about when you're supposed to plant them, how long it takes, where yeah, there's a ton of information on there.
All specs.
Yeah, so if you are interested in that, that is right there on the homepage for you as well. And the homepage has a ton of other information on it. It talks about our sponsors and our coordinators. Thank you, by the way, to Vineyard Chicks Studios, Premium Wagyu Steaks, X-Pest, and Rainbow Seeds for sponsoring giveaways for Survival Seeds 2025. You guys are awesome, and we really appreciate you. And also to Vineyard Chicks Lazy Days Ahead with Jesse and Lisa, It All Adds Up, Ms. Lorrie, and Robin Hood Homestead. You guys are membership sponsors on our channel, and you help make giveaways possible. And shipping. Also not included on this page are all of our other members, and these members on our YouTube channel at any level help make shipping more achievable, because most of this collaboration is out of our parents' pockets, because Vineyard Chicks Studios, we're Vineyard Chicks. That is a band that we do. And Vineyard Chicks Studios is our sponsor, which means that our family has invested a lot into this. So helping with shipping helps make this more achievable, and we can send seeds to more people. So thank you all. If you guys are members, we really appreciate you a lot. I'm going to go back and scroll and chat. I think I'm done with the website. But yeah, fill out the form if you want to make sure we can see your videos. And as for the videos, I already talked about Angel's podcast. Go check her out. She's a really cool channel. Southwest Living with Val made an entry video this week, and she has like the coolest growing zone ever because she has a really long growing zone, and she can literally grow almost all of the year, I think. But she is joining us for the second year. So she was one of the original Survival Seeds collaborators, and she's also coming back this year, and we're so excited to see what she does. Dee's Garden Adventures, I also talked about her pretty briefly, but she got her seeds that she picked from her seed collection, and she started planting them. So if you want to see her plant them, go check her out. It's such a cool thing. And I'm going to go back to chat, and then we're going to go let up our co-host and collaborators. So, hey, Dee's Garden Adventures, Miss Deanna, and Indiana Backyard Gardener, Adrian. It's so great to see you. I think that was it.
Looks like it.
Yeah, yep, that was it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and bring up Bushcraft Family, who is the co-host and herbal collaborator. Mr. Jesse and Miss Lisa cannot make it this week because they are in Oregon.
We haven't seen them all year.
We have not. I love that we can say that now. But hey, Bridget,
hello. Hi. A little cat jump scare. Jump scare in the best way.
Yes. How are you doing?
Scared my cat away.
Sorry.
He doesn't get scared.
Aww,
he doesn't look wonderful. Like he gets scared.
How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. And if you guys didn't know, shipping stuff costs more this year.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. No, we did know that.
It was like $2.50 more because I give away these kits for fire kits on my channel, and last year I sent some out, and this year it was $2.50 more.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
And also because we sent stuff in envelopes last year. And that was part of the problem because the seeds would squish. So we're in little bubble mailers now, and those also cost more to ship.
Yeah, that's $2 each.
Yes. But it's like worth it though, because like they're getting these seeds and you can see how they're doing. This genuinely makes me so happy just to like see what they're doing.
Yeah, and the beans aren't all squished this time.
Well, something happened to the herbs last week or something, you remember?
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, someone's herbs got squished.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like not their beans. I feel like we had this conversation with someone.
Yeah, that's odd. Squish the little baby seeds and not the beans.
Yeah, like I don't understand it at all. Also bringing up to the panel is Andale Homestead in Lorrie's World. They are our regional coordinators along with this one. So Miss Ann handles the southern U.S. portion of the collaborators, and she shouts out their videos. And Miss Lorrie handles shipping and shout outs in Canada. So thank you to you both, and hello, how are you guys doing?
As you called her Miss Canada.
Hello.
How are you guys doing? Happy New Year.
You're muted, Ann.
I said I was going to try to stay that way this time.
No, I got you.
How is everyone tonight? I'm so glad to see you all.
It is a lovely day.
Yeah, it's great.
It's dark.
Well, I was trying to look out the window because there's like snow on the ground, but it's not like deadly cold. So
yeah.
It's cold here.
Yesterday was worse, so I'm taking the win.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm here. Well, I mean, 40s.
Yeah.
You have
we are expecting, we're about in the 40s. We go from like 48 to 39. We have like 10 degree swing from day to night. It doesn't really change much. We are expecting some frost though. We're expecting to get almost to 32. So
whoa.
Wow.
Yep.
I would take
that sounds so cool.
Like, not gonna lie, I would take 40s right now.
Yeah. Talking about frost, I don't think we've been over freezing except for 2 days.
Oh,
It got
dear.
warm for some odd reason, and then it's been under 32 degrees for
Yeah.
Wow.
three,
We had
4
some
weeks.
weirdly warm weather, and I think
We
that
did.
led to our one of our dogs shedding a little before she was supposed to.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping we get at least a few days of freezing temperatures so that I can then trim my grapes.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, yeah, that's
That's
like
a good
that's
reason.
like I was like, why would you hope for that? But then you saved it.
I thought
That's
you-
a good reason.
I thought she was gonna go and like open an ice rink, but that's a good reason too.
And
Yeah,
to kill the bugs.
And
You-
kill the bugs. Yeah,
You
yeah.
need that freezing to kill them bugs.
Doesn't seem to help with the slugs, though.
Oh, gosh. We had a few, just a tiny, tiny little flicker of snow flurries today, but it was still close to 40. And
Wow.
it is
Wow.
supposed to get in the 20s at night, but
All right.
we're fine here in North Carolina. Just an hour and a half, almost 2 hours north of us, they're having an ice and snowstorm. So this winter
Wow.
storm that's crossing is
Yeah, and it's
going
going south too.
Yeah.
a little bit.
Like that is not good.
No.
Yeah. There was snow on the island, just not where I am. But
Oh,
there's,
okay.
there's places that are a lot higher here on the island. It goes like and down again, right? So
Goodness.
they do. I saw pictures of it goes up quite high to go over the mountain and then zoop down again to the other side of the island.
Oh,
It's like roller coaster all
Miss-
over.
for Val.
Miss Val, Miss Val, can I have that, please?
61.
Oh.
70.
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys are so lucky.
Like, guys, come
Sort
on.
of.
I'm
Sort
like-
of. Sort of.
I mean,
That's right.
sure, it's really cold, but the snow is pretty.
It is. That is.
And watching Tripod playing is so cute.
Oh, I'm sure. How much snow do you have, girls?
Right now, I'd estimate maybe 2.5 inches.
Oh, it's
Oh,
okay.
goodness.
that's about what we got.
Now you're
Yeah.
going to have to explain your shirts to us. You both have on the same color shirt.
Oh yeah, these
You
are
see
from Miss
below.
Lorrie. They say the same thing. Bunky was wearing hers earlier, so we figured we should wear ours. But Miss Lorrie made these for us. And what does it say?
Oh.
I don't know what does it say. I can't read it upside down.
Evidently, that one's green.
Yeah,
My sister has an awesome sister, just saying.
yeah, and all
Oh,
three of us have
that's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, and we got it from Miss Lorrie. So
She's so talented.
she
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
So talented.
Purple is definitely one of your
It
colors.
is. Still trying to find the thing.
Well, while
Um,
you're doing that, you want me to distract, or don't need that much time?
I'd need like 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm still
10
trying to.
seconds.
I'm still trying to plan for what I'm gonna do for Tripod's birthday party.
That's what you picked.
Yep. Her birthday is on January 20th, and she's gonna turn a year old, and I got to do something special.
Okay. Well,
I
that's
don't
Don't know
nice.
what.
They're like, what do you get a three-legged dog for her birthday?
Hmm. Same thing you get a four-legged dog, I would think, honey. I don't know.
Just 3 socks.
3 socks. A 3-legged race.
There you go, B.
Also, while I'm in
three-legged
the chat, someone was in the chat I wanted to say hi to, and I forgot to.
What?
Rim's family is new.
Whistle stop. Whistles.
Whistle?
Stop.
Whistle stop.
Hey,
Whistle top.
Say that
that's-
5 times
Stop.
fast.
Keep reading whistle top.
That's Crazy Ed.
That's Ed.
Whistle
Yeah.
Homestead. Hello.
We're glad to have you, Ed. Glad to have you in here. And Rim's family has joined us. It all adds up. Lorrie, Jen's Hobby Nook. We're all so
Alright.
glad to have everybody.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I think I talked about most of the videos. I accidentally took one of Miss Ann's.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I could talk a little bit more about it if you
Yeah,
would
please.
like.
Yeah.
So Southwest Living with Val put her video out, her beginning video. She lives in New Mexico, y'all. She's the girl in the chat that says it's been 70 during the day. That we're all envious of those temperatures, but honestly, it's quite barren there a lot because there's a whole lot of heat, very little rain, and a whole lot of wind. So it's difficult to grow there. You have to know what you're doing, have irrigation systems and so forth. She said she's in the Southwest region in New Mexico in Zone 8, which blows me away because Lorrie, I think you and I are in zone 8. You're in Canada. I'm in North Carolina. She's in New Mexico. And we
That's so
all have the same
How
zone.
weird is that, right?
Is that wild or not? I don't know. But she is going to be canning some things. She saved some seeds from before. She's going to do a little experiment. You'll have to check out what her experiment is with the seeds that she saved from last year. And her number 7 seed is going to be corn. That seems to be so popular. I've never grown corn because you have to grow several stalks all at the same time for them to feed each other. And I've never done that. So I think that's going to be a great time. Val, you did a wonderful job. Thank you for showing us your garden. And I loved it that she showed us her greenhouse and said her door on her greenhouse is a little wompy, but wompy is good. So thank you, Val. We really appreciate you joining us. That was my new people in the southern region.
I did forget about Mike's Chaotic Gardening, but he made his entry video and he has an herbal video to go with it. And I think he was feeling sick also, so I hope you're feeling better. But he has his entry video out, and he is one of the people who run the Winter Indoor Garden 2024.
Hashtag WIG.
It's hashtag WIG 2024, and it is a wonderful hashtag. If you haven't gotten to check it and check that out, you definitely should, because it teaches you to grow inside, and growing inside is super cool and very convenient. So check out that hashtag and check out his video. He did a wonderful job with his entry video.
No wonder he's sick, because he goes out and records his videos when it's cold out.
Really,
really cold.
It's so cold.
Don't do
I hope
that.
you're feeling better.
You can see the camera shaking. It's so cold.
Oh yeah.
And then also, I'm trying to look at the list. Miss Lorrie didn't have one.
No,
it's been a second.
I did send seeds on Monday, so they should be hopefully arriving soon. I know Canada Post is still kind of in a backlog, but shouldn't take too long. I'm hoping you guys will see your seeds next week.
Good.
That's wonderful.
And I still have 4 more packs of seeds ready to go.
So we need some more
Canadian. I need some more Canadian entries. We need 4 more Canadian entries. So come on, people.
Canada, no.
Canadians.
Oh gosh.
No,
do you remember the last one? The next one?
The next one is Wake Up to Yourself, and she is a Canadian collaborator. She made her entry video last week, and she has such a cool garden. She's Australian, and she's in a wheelchair. And someone in her comments was pointing out that her perspective when she's like talking in the camera and showing stuff is so cool, because you can see like through the rows of plants. But it's such a cool video. Her name is Trace. She has a blind magpie named Maggie. Her name is Tracy. And
did you say she's in Canada or she's in Australia?
Australia.
Canada.
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
I was like, what?
I can see Miss Lorrie just going.
Did I miss that one?
I missed that somehow.
So yeah, Maggie is the coolest, and Miss Tracy is awesome. And we talked to her a little bit through email, and I'm trying to set up something with an Australian seed distributor where I can pay for the seeds and they can send it, because I don't want to send seeds from here all the way to Australia, because that would be a lot of radiation, actually.
Well,
yeah, I don't know if they'd even grow, or if they grow in the right direction.
Yeah, you may not even be able to send them, because they'll
You
get
might
held up.
not. Australia has some pretty strict regulations when it comes to bringing seeds in.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get in touch with a company that Miss Tracy recommended. She's going to be buying her own seeds until I get that figured out. But she does also have some other people in Australia who are also interested. So I'm trying to get that figured out as soon as possible. But also there was a question in chat, which coordinator is taking Australia? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll rock it. Who wants it?
We can just like all of the above, unless we have an Australian who would like to be a coordinator that we know.
Well, the 3 of us could rock, paper, scissors for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, and also, Kayla, we do have. I'm reading my notes from before Angel's podcast, which you
Yeah.
had already spoken of, and
Was that
so
also yours? I'm so sorry.
no, it's yours, honey. It was
Okay.
yours.
But Angel's podcast is super cool. I love the way she talks about her stories. And she did an unboxing video for some rainbow seed stuff that she got. I did want to make it clear though, the survival seed banks on rainbow seeds are not ours. Those are not
They're
ours.
not affiliated with us.
If you would like to get survival seeds and follow like our survival seeds and follow along with the collaboration, I have the list on our website, but that is in no way affiliated with their survival seeds bank. Those are basically seeds that are in a vacuum sealed container that you can store in the fridge for a long time. And those are really cool. And they donated one that we gave away last month. Miss Anna's already doing South. Maybe she can do South Hemisphere. That's a good thought.
Maybe so.
That is a good thought. But what was I saying? But yeah, if you were going to purchase your own seeds, we're sending 6 packets of seeds, and those seeds are not what's in the survival seed banks. So just be aware of that, because I think she did think that those were from us. But
she may have because they're similar names, but
they are similar names. And I'm sorry for that. I didn't see that coming.
Oh well, who would know, honey?
I didn't even realize they had a survival seeds pack.
They do. They have a very cool website. Cool. It's very cool.
Well, I saw her opening, and yeah, it was a fantastic
so cool.
pack of seeds.
Yeah, I think they donated the herbal survival seed bank, and that's the one we gave away, and that had like 10 varieties of different herbs, and that was wonderful.
Okay.
That's awesome. I forgot who won that.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Hi. Teat on G. Is that?
I don't know how to say it either.
Yeah, you just didn't say it.
I'm not sure of your name, sweetie. But
she's been really good. She's been like coming to a lot of Monday Night Lives for well over a year. Back when they were on this channel, and I just never learned how to say her name.
I believe that between you, me, and Bunky, I've heard 7 different pronunciations of it.
So hello there.
We just call him the kitty cat.
Yeah.
Hey, Deborah Insignolo, it's so great to see you. Thank you for coming. But yeah, Tracy's awesome. Her video is great, and check out Maggie. That is her blind magpie, and that is cool.
And Maggie's a cool bird. She's had her for 3 years.
I have a question. So you talked about the list where people can, or the spot where people can put in their videos that they want to be highlighted. Are you going to make that list public somewhere? So that everybody can actually see it in a sorted version?
So what my plan is that,
hashtag.
Yeah, you can check out the hashtag.
Well, I do. I checked out the hashtag last night and watched everything that I could see, but sometimes they get missed.
So I didn't actually think about doing that. I don't want to like give everyone's email to everyone in the collaboration, so it would take some like playing around with. But I could probably set something up for that. Otherwise,
the name, the channel name, and the video link.
Yeah, I can do that.
Separate those out.
What my original idea with that form is that it would tell me to watch the video, and then I can put them in topic organized playlists. Yes. And so I've already started the garden planning playlist for like.
Nice.
So that one's already a thing. You can talk about like what seeds you're planning on doing, or you can even start your seeds, and that would go in the planning playlist. And as we get further into the year, if there's some preserving, canning, etc., those would go in a separate playlist for like recipes.
Cool. So then those are on the VC Family.
Those would be on VC Family.
Okay.
So cool. I'm hoping to have stuff organized better so that like if you're looking for something, it's easier to find.
Yeah.
But
like
for
the playlist.
It was easy last night because when I went and looked for them, all of the ones that I had already watched still showed as being watched. So as I was able to just pick the ones that didn't have the red line, right? But YouTube is going to come along and clear my back watch list without my permission, and they'll just all show as unwatched again, right? And then what do you do? I sure as heck don't try to remember all the names of the videos I watched.
Why not, Lorrie? Why not?
That should be in your cache, though.
Yeah.
That should be in your cache.
It would be in my history, but like I watch a lot of videos.
Yeah.
You know, several hundred a day. So to go back 3 months and find something, I've always got somebody's channel running.
Oh wow, that's super cool.
Always.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, if once they drop off, I would have to go back a long ways to find anything that I had watched that long ago.
Right.
Yeah, that is a little bit.
So I think maybe for you coordinators, if it would help, I can give you the form and you can just go through and see what you've already watched. But for the general public, I think I just put it in playlist and you guys can check out what you're interested in checking out through topic.
I love the idea of the playlist. I just wondered if there was going to be anywhere where those videos would come up in an easy to access format, and a playlist will definitely do that.
Yeah, I think the playlist, or at some point I'm going to end up trying to remodel like a page on the website so that you can just see in chronological order what's been posted.
That'd be a good idea.
Maybe
have
have,
updated each time, and you can just easily add one.
Because it's not hard to change that.
Yeah.
So I can do that too.
Since you're doing HTML, you can do what's called an iframe.
Like where it plays a playlist.
You put the code in for iframe, and then you can actually add pages from another website.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Let's see. We are planning to post a video on how I do my soil blocks in preparation of growing. That sounds super cool.
Oh, that does sound interesting.
Yeah, something I'm trying to figure out is like interviews and stuff that line up with getting your seed started or like preparing your garden. Because I noticed last year we did a lot of talking about that in summer when all of that was already done. Yeah. So I'm trying to like time it better this year. Hey, Sandy, thanks so much for being here.
Hi. I just had to show her that I was drinking out of her cup.
Oh, that's so
oh gosh,
that's you.
Oh goodness.
I have her cup here. I'm drinking my homemade Russian tea out of cup. So I was thinking about her.
Hey, Don Ray B, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, what Kayla meant is I designed that logo for her.
Oh, how
no.
I totally forgot I did though.
That's why I forgot of it.
I keep seeing people like bring up the logos I've made in the past. I'm like, oh yeah.
It gets hard to remember all of them for sure. Like, did I do that or did somebody else do that?
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Southwest Living with Val's next video will be about starting her seeds 3 different ways. That sounds awesome.
That's fun.
I want to do the one we did last year about germinating onions in the freezer. And I want to do that like as soon as possible because we were late. Good morning, Miss Trace. Good day, friends. I have an appointment, so popped in for 10 minutes. Thrilled to see you all live. Thank you so much for coming. It was great to meet you. We did a bunch of talking this week about seed distributors and stuff. So yeah, great to hear from her. All right. I think that was it. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to bring up?
Well, with the herbal side.
Oh yeah.
Off-grid world. She's been doing for each of the herbs. She's already done the hyssop, lemon balm, and the oregano just a couple minutes ago.
Wow. Yeah, I saw those. Those are cool.
And awesome. Really good information because I heard a lot of people had trouble with hyssop last year not coming up and stuff, and she has some good tips about that because they need sunlight or artificial light, grow light to germinate. And a lot of good information about them, what you can use the herbs for and stuff. So
yeah, they were very informative.
Yeah, and that goes for anybody doing any of the seeds. You can talk about that stuff, and that's a good video.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to come up with content until growing season comes, that makes good content.
Oh yeah,
because there's always everybody looking to learn more about how to get their seeds to germinate and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and especially like now that like most people aren't planting right this second, it's good to just like get that information and let it absorb a little bit before you apply it. Hey, Rambling with the Brums, thanks so much for being here. And also Shawnee Groves, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you. All right. Hey, Christy, thanks so much for being here. Great to see you. All right. But yeah, go check out Off-Grid World's videos. I think there's also a playlist on Bushcraft's channel for all of the herbal videos.
Well, the entry ones, I can't do because for some reason I can only do so many playlists.
I looked into it because I was worried that I hit the limit too, because I can't make another playlist on my laptop. But Google told me that there's apparently no limit, and I tried it on the family computer. And
that's why I've got an email from one of the supervisors, and I emailed her, and she said there's no limit. I said, well, why does it say you've reached your limit?
Oh, my issue is that it said failed to create playlist.
Yeah.
And so I just had to use a different device. But if it's telling you that you've reached your limit, that's really weird.
It said failed to create because you have reached your limit of playlist. And I'm like, why is there a limit?
That doesn't seem right.
And on the homepage, you can only have so many categories now.
Right.
Yeah, we did change that.
And I was already over the limit when they did it. So when I had to try to put another one on my page, I had to take like 4 of them away.
Oh, wow.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess it's just a thing because Off-Grid World is having problems with playlists too.
Interesting.
Maybe it's just a glitch or something.
I don't know. It's YouTube.
They changed the homepage and it affected playlists.
Thank you so much, Miss Jen, for dropping videos. We really appreciate you. And all of our moderators, if you have a wrench, you are free to share your videos with other people. And also thank you, moderators, for keeping our chat family friendly. Was that it? Was there anything else we wanted to bring up?
No, that was it. Other than a couple from last week, you already mentioned one. Mike's did his herb one last week, and my Alabama Life did hers.
Yeah, we're excited.
That's awesome.
I think, if the video has been made for the herbal, your herbs will be sent with you with the rest of the seeds. I'm just behind right now. I'm sorry, guys. Also, wake up to yourself.
Oh, yeah. And those that are, for some odd reason, you don't want to do the 6 seeds, and you just did the herbal, you'll have to, and I've got that on my website, is the entry form over there.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sweet.
That sounds awesome.
That's great.
And that's just bushcraftfamily.net.
So I hear that the COO from Rainbow Seeds is coming tonight.
He is, and I'm going to bring him up in just a minute.
That sounds fabulous.
It is. I'm really excited about it. But wake up to yourself. No worries. Thank you so much for promoting the collaboration. There's a lot of other videos in the hashtag, and I got a little bit lost, but you're not in trouble. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to figure out what everyone's talking about. Oh, no worries.
There's no rush.
Yeah, no rush, because I think, it's January. So I guess we're kind of getting close to when people are going to be germinating, but it's not like immediately yet. So, but yeah, the herbal collaboration is awesome, and it's headed up by Bushcraft Family. So if you're interested in that, go watch some herbal entry videos and get yours posted so we can send you your seeds. Or if you only want to do the herbal side of the collaboration, go head over to Bushcraft Family's website. All right. Was there anything else? Okay. I'm going to drop the coordinators down to the basement for maybe a half hour. And then we'll be back, or they'll be back, and then we can have them ask some questions too. All right.
Wait, do I have to go too?
I don't know.
I'll just.
Bye, Trie.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks. Yep. 6 Fahrenheit here in Sussex, New Brunswick, Canada.
Wow. Okay, that's worse than what we've got going on.
Yeah.
All right. So for everyone in the chat, this is Patrick. He is the CEO of Rainbow Seeds, and Rainbow Seeds is the company that we bought seeds from this year. They've worked with us to get a bunch of seeds that we could send to you, and they also gave us a promo code that you guys can use if you would like to buy some seeds. It is Survival10 at checkout, so go check them out. It's a super cool company, and that actually brings me to one of my questions. So you run Rainbow Seeds. How did you start getting into selling seeds?
So about 15 years ago, we were watching all the marches against the genetically modified seeds. And I think the main one we were watching was Toronto, but they had them all over the world. So, so that sparked our interest. I started, wondering, how do these companies get so big? How do the big seed companies get so big? And what are they mainly focused on? So I started running numbers. I wanted to know, how are these guys making their money? And so once I figured it out, and I'll tell you, what I found out was they were making about $500,000 per acre growing corn for seed.
Wow.
And they were making $500,000 to $2 million per acre growing tomatoes for seed. So I started telling my friends after I, researched the numbers, and I was trying to get my friends to start a business. I said, you guys got to get into the heirloom seeds business, but nobody did it. And so a few years later, our son was diagnosed with autism. So we said, all right, one thing we know that we should be doing right now is, growing our own food. So I said, I'll take my own advice. And we started the seed company. In the summertime, with autism, he had crossed eyes. He couldn't control his eyes. And in the summertime, when he was eating the food out of our garden, his eyes would straighten out.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we knew we were onto something. And we just started, selling a few seeds per year. Basically, our first year, I think we did something like $7,500, but it doubled every year.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we got it up to almost 70,000, and then COVID hit.
Oh.
And then it went times 20. And
wow.
So it just really took off. And we started running out of inventory, and all through COVID, it was just very difficult to hold on to inventory. So, we had to keep refining everything that we did along the way. Our customers really told us what to do. They gave us all the ideas of what we should do, and we just paid attention to what they wanted.
Wow.
They wanted fast shipping, right? They didn't want to wait 2-3 months for their seeds, and so we would work as hard as we could to make sure the seeds got out that same day or the next day. They didn't want 10 seeds per pack or something like this, right? Sometimes you'll buy a pack of seeds, you only get 10 tomato seeds. We did that. We were buying some tomato seeds, and we were so frustrated. So we said, all right, we're going to make sure that we give more seed than our competition per pack.
Wow.
And so we focused on that. We also focused on making sure that our price was either the same or lower for every pack.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so, I can't, stress it more. If anybody's looking for, a way to make extra money or whatever, my best suggestion, get into the seeds industry. You might not grow your company into like a multi-million-dollar company, but it's going to pay the bills, and you'll be able to use that money for, to grow your own food also, so that you have all the supplies that you need for that. Right.
Right. And going back to the point that you said on having more seeds per pack, I was trying to do the order for our family's personal garden, like maybe a week ago, through your company. And I had to go check quantity with my parents afterwards because I was assuming that based on like how many seed packets we usually need from other suppliers, it was like, oh, I'm going to need 5 packets of tomatoes. And every time I did a 5-pack of something, it was ending up to be like 40 seeds more than what we were going to need for our garden. And so like
Right.
the quantity difference in your company compared to other companies was like so surprising to me.
Yeah. There's no sense in giving the people too little, because there's so much abundance and you can grow so much, just in an acre. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. And, so if you're looking to get into the seeds industry or whatever, it's a cash flow business. You want to create cash flow, and you can't do that if you're focused on profit per pack.
Right.
You should never focus on profit. The profit per pack is going to be there. So this isn't an industry to get greedy on. Most of the heirloom seed companies work together. So we all work together. We go to the same shows. We hang out together. We give each other ideas or whatever. And we want the heirloom seeds industry to grow. We want more people growing heirloom seeds, right? We want less poison in our kids' food.
Right.
So that's number one, first and foremost. So it's a great way, if you want to just maintain good relationships with other growers, this is the business to do.
And what a great mission to have. Like you're helping promote healthy food. You're helping people like be able to grow on their own, and you're not like overcharging them. And you're not like charging nickel and dime for another seed. Like, and that's wonderful. One of the other questions I had, I don't know why it ruined all my formatting. How long have you been growing from seeds?
So mainly the last 10 years. So, farming's pretty tough. We're getting better at it. A lazy farmer kind of figures out how to refine their business plan and makes things easier. So yeah, right now, like mainly we grow a lot of tomatoes, a lot of beans, the bush beans. We're bringing in new stuff though, because we see what people want. Echinacea is a new one that we're kind of passionate about. Yeah, so all the different color echinacea. So we're seeing some companies, they're selling the roots, just one root, $22.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for just one root of echinacea. So we're getting into that. But the other thing is we make most of our money in the wintertime. So right now our sales just took off. This is the busy time for us. And summertime, we don't make as much revenue. So we want to bring in other things like nursery plants and stuff like that. So a lot of people ask for asparagus crowns.
Ooh, that one is cool.
Yeah. We do Jerusalem artichokes. I don't know if have heard of Jerusalem artichokes. It looks almost like a white turnip, but it grows into like a mini sunflower. It's neat. It's a really neat one. So we get a lot of homesteaders, and this is the type of stuff that they're growing. They want high bush blueberries and things like that, and cherry trees, apple trees. So we're going to start, doing, I guess another leg of our business. We're going into that stuff. So I know you were talking about the price of shipping recently. Last year, I think our shipping costs went up 30%, and this is the second time this year that they're doubling our shipping costs. So we want to make sure that we have a portion of our business that isn't reliant on the shipping.
Wow.
Yeah. But, if you're shipping seeds, they're in envelopes. So you know, $3, $4, $5 an envelope. It's really not a big deal. So, yeah.
I'm trying to find our next question. There we go. You already talked about what's something that's important to you as a company, and do you have a company mission? Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah. Well, you know, we're designing the company around our needs, you know, as a family. So we have 4 kids, and I don't know, you know, basically, you know, what do we consume every day? Like my wife wants to grow coffee plants or chocolate. You can get chocolate nibs or the bean for it from Puerto Rico. So we're going to get some of that up, and we're going to get some of the Arabica coffee. And so, yeah, we really want to do something that inspires us. If you go into farming and you're 10 years in and you're doing the same thing, you're gonna lose that motivation. And so we're always trying to get, what is the next thing that's motivating us? Like I said about the echinacea. So it really motivates us. So something else that we're branching out onto this year. So we're preppers also. So, you know, as far as survival seeds, we, you know, whatever we're selling, we're storing and saving for ourselves too.
Right.
So one of the big ones is wheat seed. So we're really passionate about the wheat seed because what the industries do with wheat is they do what's called desiccant spraying. So they'll take an herbicide and they'll spray that crop 10 days before they harvest it and kill that crop. And they mix it with an oily substance, a surfactant, to get the herbicide to stick to it. So when they harvest that, it is soaked in this chemical, and that goes to storage, and then it goes to processing with the herbicide stuck to it. So wheat is really important. Any crops that they desiccant spray, we want to know how to, you know, propagate those crops and process those seeds and then store those seeds. So we're getting in big on wheatgrass right now, funnily enough, but we're not doing it for human consumption. We're doing it for pets. Yeah, a lot of people's pets are getting sick. And, you know, mainly it's, you know, most of this stuff is just the wrong diet for pets. This is not what they eat in the wild. You let your cat go out into the lawn, and that cat's eating something completely different than what we're feeding it, right? And they're also seeing the fertility rate of these animals, like the kennels and stuff. The fertility rate's going down on these animals. So so we're doing pet grass. We're starting a new website, petgreens.ca, and we're buying one of those pellet machines. So have you ever seen the pellet machines before?
I don't think I've ever seen.
No, I haven't.
Do you girls have goats?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the goats eat the pellets, right? So you get the pellet machine. It costs about $2,000, $2,500, and you make your own pellets. You mix, you do your mixture, you put in whatever you want for that goat to eat. And you know, like you can't give a goat too much, like say alfalfa, right?
Right.
Because it has 4 stomachs, and you don't want to give the goat too much fermented food. It can have a teeny bit. So you'd put maybe a little bit of alfalfa, and then maybe you're putting oats in that, but you make your own recipe. And so the pellet machine's good, and we're doing that. And say for the cats, we're going to put a teeny bit of catnip in there just to get them interested in it, right? But there's a whole bunch of neat things that you can do like that. And we feel that wheat is going to be one of the most expensive crops in the next 10 years. We think it's going to go times 10. We think that,
That's super cool. I'm going to take a second and pause chat. As far as I know, no one blocked anyone. Just wanted to make that clear. I did accidentally kick Off-Grid World while trying to pull up my questions. So if you're still here, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix that, but it should be gone by next live. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm so sorry. The next question I had was, what do you look for when purchasing high quality seeds? Like, how do you know if you were a new gardener, how would you know if you have like good seeds?
So during COVID, we were sourcing out some seeds because we wanted to bring in some new varieties. And we bought some Red Dent. I'm not going to tell you the company that we bought it from, but we bought it. It's supposed to be red. It's supposed to be a Red Dent corn. And when we grew it, we got yellow kernels. So corn, yeah, so it had red and yellow, right? So corn needs 1 mile to avoid cross-pollination. And the problem when you get in your seeds, say from the Midwest, is everybody's growing corn. So the pollen is everywhere. And so like we grow corn in a greenhouse, and we don't vent in the air from the outside. We recycle that air. Yeah. So what we'll do is, say we're growing Red Dent corn. We have one supplier that we know that we've tested. We've done a test run. Unfortunately, it'll take 2-3 years before we know and we get that right supplier.
Right.
And, so we've got the right supplier now. We can now grow out Red Dent and not worry about it, because people will end up blaming us if we end up sending out Red Dent seed and all of a sudden it's growing some yellow corn seed on there on the cobs. So tomatoes I'm not worried about, because tomatoes only need 20 feet between varieties to avoid cross-pollination. So that's not bad. We do 25 feet, and we check the flowers, make sure that the stamen is closed so that no pollen's getting in. Sometimes they'll open, and so we'll chop that crop down if that happens. But beans, that's another one. It only needs 20 feet to avoid cross-pollination. We use 25 feet. That's bush beans, not pole beans. Lettuce doesn't need any separation. So you could have a red romaine next to a green crisp lettuce, and they're not going to cross-pollinate. So lettuce is a good one. So per acre, you can get about 30 varieties of tomatoes out there. You can get about 30 varieties of beans. Throw some lettuce. Now, if you're growing, say, pumpkins for seed, if you do a pumpkin patch mix, people don't care if it's cross-pollinated. If they want an heirloom pumpkin patch mix, they're not doing it to save seed, because if they grow it, it's going to cross-pollinate anyways.
Right.
But pumpkins need 800 meters, 800 yards. Hot peppers, they need, I think, 800 yards.
Wow.
Sweet bell peppers need only 250 feet. So on an acre, you might be able to get, 3 or 4 sweet bell peppers.
Wow.
In there. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And you start with what you can do, and then you build on that, right?
Right. What was the other one I wanted to ask? So we have a lot of new growers in the chat, and they're not necessarily trying to start seed businesses versus trying to start planting for the first time. Mm-hmm. And one of the issues we ran into last year was that last year we sent everyone Walla Walla onions, and it turns out almost everyone in South had trouble growing them because they need a shorter day onion. How would you define the difference between a short and long day onion, and why does it matter?
Well, so yeah, there's only really 2 places in the United States, I think, where they grow onion from seed to seed production at the end. Arizona and I believe Utah. These are the 2. What we do, like I've heard you say, everybody grows different and all of that, and I agree. In Canada, we have no choice but to grow differently. So what we do is we'll take Walla Walla onion seed or any onion seed, it doesn't matter. And we'll get cell trays that have not 72 cells, but the ones with 128 cells, really small ones. And we'll plant our onion seed in there, and we'll make our own onion sets, right? So we do our own onion sets, and we'll do that in the fall. And here's the thing about onions. This is probably the number one crop to start in a cold frame. So the reason why is because they can be started a little bit early, or they can stay in there as a perennial. And we grow them as a perennial also. As long as that soil's dry in the fall and it doesn't have wet soil through the winter, it'll come up again. But here's the thing with onions. Until those onion greens get big, that photosynthesis is not happening. So the key with onions is get that onion green big, and then the onion's going to take off from that point forward. And so the other thing, they don't like any competition except for themselves. Onions like to have onions up against them.
Right.
Let's see, there was one other. Okay, during the bulbing phase of the growth, they need water, right?
Right.
They have to have water. I just want you to imagine an onion set. The roots are dry at the bottom of that onion set. That happens so easily with the onion. Those roots will dry and die very fast. And so consistent watering, drip irrigation is very important for onions. Very important. So yeah, so the old timers up here, they're the ones that taught me, and they're making sure it's as much sun as these onions can get in their cold frames, and they have the biggest onions I've seen. They'll dig trenches. They'll put manure down the trench, and then they put a little bit of soil, and then they put their onion sets. So yeah, I haven't seen onions grow like they grow in, it's Albert County, New Brunswick.
Cool.
But the old timers, that's where you want to go for the best information. Yeah.
Right. We got a couple questions in chat. One of them was, does Rainbow Seeds ship to the US?
Yes, we do. We do. So we don't ship to Hawaii or Alaska. And really, we don't make much money shipping into the United States because the shipping is so expensive. What we are looking to do within 2 years, we're looking to set up a Rainbow Seeds in Florida.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, we're looking to go to Florida and set up there. I used to work in Florida, so I know the area, and I have a lot of friends down there. And it's a great area. Ocala, horse country down there is really nice. And yeah, so we're looking forward to it. It'll probably take us about 2 years to get down there.
Right. The other one is from Shawnee Grows. Does anyone add sulfur to onions in bulbing growth? Oh, I know we add nitrogen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how do I put this? So this is kind of a biology thing. So I don't know how to put it. So it's a gardening thing, but yeah. So like ammonia is high nitrogen. You know, a lot of the farmers will use ammonia. I mean, if you're going to use sulfur, The composting facilities will take in tractor trailer loads of rotten eggs.
Oh wow.
Yet they'll dump them in a like almost like a holding pond, and then they put their like soil substrate on top of that. But they're getting all the sulfur they need, all the nitrogen. It's all in there. It smells horrible. It is the worst smell. I mean, if you can imagine, if you've ever put just a dozen rotten eggs in your compost, it really smells. You can imagine the tractor trailer load. But yeah, that's it. You know, if that's what you're going to do, I wouldn't put it anywhere near the roots. You want the bacteria to break that down. So the bacteria will distribute, you know, the fungus and bacteria will distribute everything as needed. So just keep it, you know, at least a few inches off the side. That's, you know, my best guess for that.
Now this is like coming from like a bunch of new gardeners, especially like trying to shop for seeds. What is the difference between heirlooms and hybrids, and are GMOs a bad thing? Like if you're hunting for seeds and you're a new gardener.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of litigation in this. So I got to be careful how I say this, right? So first of all, I mean, there's heirloom seeds everywhere. The big companies, the big seed companies, they get their seed stock from us. They look for traits. Like we have this one tomato, Siberian, and almost no disease, perfect tomato, short growing season. And, you know, this is the type of tomato that they want. And so they'll come in, they'll buy that, and then they'll make a hybrid out of it so that, you know, you're not going to save the seed from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an F1 hybrid, it just means the first year, right? F2, second year. F3 means that the traits are locked in, right? From that point forward, the traits are locked in, or at least as close. You're close to whatever you're looking for.
Interesting.
Yeah. So a hybrid. I'll give you an example. English cuke. They don't want people saving seeds for English cukes. They want the seed to be female. Is that right? All females, female cucumbers, and people that eat English cukes don't want seeds in them, anyways, right? So yeah, so they'll do a hybrid with it, and it's, you know, gender selection. Wow. Hybridization. It's so yeah. So, but that's it. So like there's a tomato variety called Gardener's Sweetheart, and it's a cherry tomato in the shape of a heart, and it's really neat. So they take.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. They take a Gardener's Delight. That's an heirloom variety, and they cross that, I think, with Aroma. I think is what it was. And they basically, you could get 2-3 feet of clusters of these tomatoes. So the tomato plant will grow like 10 feet tall. It's just amazing to see these, but you know, Gardener's Sweetheart. And then, you know, if you decide to grow it the next year, what you do is only save the seed from the plant that is holding those traits. Right. And then you're going to have to do it again the next year and only save the seed from the plant that is repeating those traits. Yeah. So, wow. And genetically modified, we don't like genetically modified. I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to tell you why we don't like them. And so you get this, and so we don't get sued. Right. So I'm just going to, it's just logic, right? So what they want to do is they want to make, say, a corn variety be able to be sprayed with an herbicide or to be resistant to that herbicide. And so what they did was when they were discovering where to get the chemicals for these herbicides, they found some plants that other plants wouldn't grow around them. And they found out that the roots of those plants were giving off a chemical.
Oh, wow.
And they were giving off a hormone. And so what they did was they took a gene from that plant and they combined it with a gene, say, from the corn or whatever. And so they made the plant resistant to its own herbicide. But the problem is when you hybridize a non-edible plant with an edible plant, right? In my opinion, you're looking for trouble, right?
Yeah.
Digestive trouble or whatever. I don't know what those troubles are, but I can only speculate, and it's not good. In my opinion, it's not good.
Right.
One that we're concerned about right now. I don't know if you've seen the movie Dark Waters. Have you ever seen that movie?
Don't think so.
So Dark Waters, they found this chemical in the water of this town where they had a factory, and it's a forever chemical. And so they have these forever chemicals have carbon chains, and they can't be broken down. So they build up in your system. Well, they just made an herbicide for rice. And this herbicide for the rice is worse than the movie Dark Waters. So the Dark Waters chemical was C8, which is 8 carbon and fluorine, right? So the herbicide now is C12 plus fluorine. So they took something that they were sued for billions and billions of dollars, and they made an herbicide out of it, except for they changed the formula, which in my opinion is worse because the carbon chain is worse. Yeah. So this is what's happening. All of Asia, they have no idea that this is going through and spreading very, very fast.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'm not going to give the name of that herbicide. But so that we don't get litigated, but I would research it. I think it's worthwhile to research it. And if you're looking for a survival seed to grow, I think rice is a very big one. What was the one that we picked up? There's one from Atlanta, Georgia. Trying to think. Golden something. Yeah, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a great heirloom rice. It was the main rice that was grown and sold in the United States 150 years ago. So the other thing is you can sprout your own rice. You can take rice bought from the store, jasmine rice or basmati rice, put it into a Ziploc bag with on a paper towel with water, and it'll sprout.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that might be a new project for you girls.
That sounds
fun. We use a lot of rice.
Next year's seed.
Right.
Yeah.
Rem's family is asking if rice is a perennial.
Well, it is in certain grow zones. It wouldn't be in Canada. So we have to climatize a lot of these varieties.
Right.
So we might say we grow this variety up here. We have this one swamp that we want to grow it around, where the ducks are and stuff like that, and we might get 10% survival rate. Those are the seeds we're going to save. Those 10% that were healthy. And we're going to keep growing that out year after year. And the healthiest ones, we're going to save those seed. And then the next year, eventually, we'll have seed that almost the entire crop will be healthy. So, yeah, you got to climatize it. You can do that with almost any crops based on your region. Don't give up. If you like a certain variety, just climatize it for your own region.
Interesting. Wow. We got a couple people in chat asking if you were talking about Carolina Gold rice.
Carolina Gold, that's the one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the one. Carolina Gold. Yeah.
I think that was most of the questions that I wanted to address. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the coordinators back up. And if anyone in the chat has any more questions, just drop them in the chat and I'll try to get to them. You're muted.
You're muted, Miss Ann.
So wonderful to meet you, Patrick. Thank you for being here. What an amazing time of information that you have shared with us.
Absolutely.
Really
Thank you so much.
Well, most of it's from just, our customers and so many people that have helped us grow our company and all that, and people like you, right? So that's the great thing about collaboration is, you got to pass on that knowledge.
Right.
That's right. I'm looking forward to growing your seeds this year. We've got all your seeds here, so that's going to be fun. I do have a question. Do you usually grow the seeds that you buy when you buy them from other companies like that, hence the yellow red corn? When you buy something, do you usually grow it first and then sell the seeds? I mean, that would be very time consuming and expensive.
Yeah, so we have 600 or 700 varieties, and we can't grow them all.
Yeah, no.
So almost all the seed varieties have different seed machines that clean that seed. So cleaning corn seed is not an issue, but if you've ever tried, say, Tulsi basil, holy basil, those seeds are so tiny, and so process. We did it one year, and they worked. They weren't as clean as we wanted them to be, but they had a good germination rate. We got lucky because the germination rate can be hit or miss with really small seeds like that, right?
Right.
And then the other thing is, if we see that we can't get, like, say basil seed, or I'll just say lettuce seed. This will be easy, right? So we can buy a kilogram of lettuce seed for about $60 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if we can buy a kilogram of lettuce seed, that really, what was that? $2,000 retail, and we're getting it for 60, right? And it's a lot of work. So we might not prioritize that variety, but say something like we were talking about the echinacea earlier, we can't get that in bulk. And so, if we know we have trusted partners, and we found some good ones. Like we didn't have good wheat when we first started. It wasn't clean, and it didn't have as good of a germination rate as it should have. So we found another supplier that, of families that have grown the wheat for 100 years, family farms, and they had good germination rate, and it was, standard. It's not called heirloom, it's called common. So they had the standard common hard wheat. And now we've got them. They do that work. We don't have a combine. We don't have $500,000 to spend on a combine. So we leave that stuff to the real professionals like that. As long as they're not using certain chemicals, we're fine with it. So like they are certified organic. Now, we're not allowed to say that it's organic because we're not a certified repackager. So we would have to actually have our processing facility certified as a repackager to keep that organic certification. But the seed that we get, the wheat seed, is organic. The microgreens sprouting is all certified organic when we get it. So and we wouldn't grow, say, microgreens for seed. We don't even like the microgreens industry. We think it's going to be super regulated in the next 10 years, because like, say we go into just a massive crop failures for some reason, they're going to first target the microgreens industry because they're wasting farmland on something that produces this much food. Like, Yeah, so you have a pack of cabbage seed that you're growing for microgreens. I could produce 10,000 cabbage heads, or I can produce a box of microgreens.
Right.
Yeah.
So what makes sense, right? So yeah, we don't really like that industry. So we're not gonna invest our time to learn that industry and to be part of that. But yeah. So any
That's a
more?
really good answer. Southwest Living with Val wants to know, how do you save and do corn? I think just generally.
Yeah, corn's easy.
Mhm.
You can braid it and hang it. What we do is like in our barn, we'll hang a lot of things in our barn. We'll hang our garlic. We'll hang corn. What else are we hanging in there? Yeah, sometimes onions. It just depends. Depends what we're growing on that year and what we want to do. But yeah, corn's easy. I think it needs 15% moisture content, which won't mean anything to most gardeners. The way the industry does it, they have what's called like a GAC meter, a moisture meter. They put the corn seed in there and they put a cap on it and crank it down, and it gives a reading what's the moisture content. But when you hang it like in a cool, dry location, you could even do it in a tent, right? A lot of people do it just in like a pop-up tent, and yeah, as long as the wind and the air can get in there, it's going to dry. It'll get to the moisture content that you're looking for, and getting that corn seed off the cob, it'll scrape your knuckles a little bit, but other than that, yeah, it's not that difficult. And then storing the seeds, a lot of people want to know how to store the seeds. So when we started, we would just put our seeds in our north side pantry, and it was the coldest room of the house. We never put the stuff at the floor level because humid air is heavier and it goes towards the floor. And we would never put it towards the ceiling because hot air rises. So right about waist. And but then eventually we got into doing the vacuum sealed. I think vacuum sealing, everybody should be vacuum sealing their seeds.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
You can throw them in the fridge, but you can also throw them in the freezer. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you put them in the freezer, you're looking at 30 to 50 years, right?
Wow.
Now, onion seeds last the least. They only last typically a year. Now, that's, if you put onion seeds in a seed pack, you put them in the store, a year. If you store them like this, you're probably going to get 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That's awesome.
Dee's Garden Adventures wants to know, how much rice should you grow for one person?
As much as you can. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a consumer item, right? So, my suggestion for everybody is get yourself a 10-year supply. That's where I think we're at with society right now. I think we need a 10-year supply, and that's minimum. Now, we have wheat in Mylar. My wife and I, we put a pallet of wheat in Mylar, and with the oxygen absorbers. So we've got that as backup. We'll rotate that out maybe in a couple of years, and we'll put new wheat in there, and just to keep it rotated. But yeah, I think the crops that you're really going to need that are mechanized, that's where the issues are going to be. So look at the year without a summer, Mount Tambora. I don't know if any of you have heard of the year without a summer. So 1816, almost every crop failed north of the 40th parallel because a volcano blew. So an Indonesian volcano blew Mount Tambora. It took a year for for the planet to cool down. It only cooled down 0.5 degree Celsius. But what happened was it snowed 3 times in the summer. So, these, almost all the crops failed. We know of certain crops that didn't fail. Abenaki corn in Maine didn't fail. It got snowed on and it survived. So Abenaki is a good flint corn. It's good for animal feed. Yeah, and your crops like kale will be fine, but rice, yeah, they grow most of the rice in California, in the United States. So what is it, San Fernando Valley, something like that. But yeah, so rice is a big one, especially if you don't want the forever chemicals in that product, right? My suggestion, get good at rice, get good at wheat. Yeah. So the biggest producers of wheat: Canada, the United States, Argentina, and Russia.
Whoa.
Right.
That's
so
cool.
If we have another Mount Tambora, it can happen. Right. It's cyclical. Well, volcanoes, they're not done. It's going to come in a cycle and we're going to see them again.
Right.
And so if you're really looking to do survival seeds, that's a good one, because volcanoes are pretty common, right?
Right.
So statistically, you're right in the right place.
We have a note from Rem's family. You brought up freezing seeds, and he thought that freezing seeds were a bad thing. I know our family freezes our onion seeds before we germinate them because it helps with the germination process.
Yeah, cold stratification. So some plants will come up earlier in the season. So in the spring, the grass starts to get green, and there's a few other plants that are coming up early. Dandelions are one of the early ones, right? Echinacea is another cold stratified one. I think lavender is another cold stratified one. You can start them in your fridge. The other thing is, you can just start them outside. Your little baggies, put the seeds on the wet paper towel and put that outside. And that cold stratification can happen naturally. It's hard to tell when they're gonna come. It might be 38 Fahrenheit. It might be 42. It's hard to tell. Every year might be different. The seeds, sometimes you might get a dry year. Those seeds might have a harder shell that year, right? We've had beefsteak tomatoes. Some years they're germinating in 5-6 days. Some years they're germinating in 3 weeks, right? Depending on the toughness of those seeds, right?
Right.
So, but cold stratification, certain seeds cannot be frozen, but those are typically from the equator, the subtropical seeds. A lot of them cannot be frozen. Yeah.
Right.
It comes down to moisture content in the seed. If the seed freezes, that moisture is going to expand the seed, and you can break the germ, or you can break the coating of the seed. So.
Right.
Indiana Backyard Gardener wants to know what what is your family's favorite thing to grow?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, no.
Our kids, they don't like farming. They like the animals. They like, if the goats or chickens, they love that. They could stay playing with the animals all day long. But, out in the field, farming's tough. It's not easy. It's not easy. And we're getting older. So, we like when we love strawberries, but we don't, we sell our strawberry plants locally only. Strawberries are fantastic. I mean, the flavor is just amazing.
I love strawberries.
I would say strawberries, yeah, and they're invasive. They multiply like crazy. Yeah.
Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona wants to know, what do you think about growing rice in 5-gallon buckets? A lot of the people in our collaboration deal with very little space. And so one of our goals with this collaboration was to try to show people how to garden in small spaces. Is this possible with rice?
I don't know if it's possible with rice. So we joined, I think it's Upland Rice Community. And so it's a specific Facebook group, and they are, doing all different growing methods, and they share all their information. We've never tried in buckets. I would say that, so there's two types of rice. So there's rice that you can grow that, like the Japanese rice is more of a dry paddy rice, but the I think Vietnamese rice up to China is wet paddy rice, right? So they grow them in terraces. And so depending on the rice variety you have, you need to know that if you're going to grow in a bucket, you need to know how many holes to put at the bottom of the bucket, and probably holes in the sides because you want it to have some aeration. But if it's like a wetland rice, yeah, you might try. I don't know if you've seen those 1,000 liter water tanks. You might try cutting one of those in half and do something like that.
Putting the buckets inside there.
Well, I would just fill that whole thing. I would take the chicken shavings and I would throw that at the bottom and let that just decompose. And I would take some organic soil and put it on top. And yeah, that's the way I would go. And then I would monitor that moisture. I would get a moisture meter, and I'd find out based on which rice variety, whether it's the wet paddy rice or the Japanese dry paddy rice, what the moisture content should be for that soil, right? That's the way I would go, because I think moisture is going to be your biggest thing for that.
Have you ever tried not Googling? Have you ever tried gardening with hugelkultur?
Hugelkultur. Yeah, so the hugelkultur, this is what you're going to want to do with that. No hardwood ever. So when you go into the forest, right, and you see birch trees on the ground, they're only maybe 3-4 years old, and you can kick them and they're falling apart. That's what you want for your hugelkultur, right? Because they decompose so fast. It's free, it's cheap, it's everywhere. Yeah, that's where you want to go, because it's going to give you good results early. Most people that do hugelkultur, they get in there and they put the wrong wood in, or they'll even put branches and sticks, and it might be 10 years before those even decompose. Mm-hmm. So I would only go birch. That's the way I'd go.
A good tip. Terry Crafty 333 wants to know, some people think that they don't have gluten issues if they eat pasta and stuff in Italy. Any ideas why?
I've heard that. Yeah. So how do I put this? Okay. So we thought we were gluten intolerant, but really I think it came down to I think I don't want to get sued, right? So, but when you're doing desiccant spraying on crops, right? Imagine the size of the litigation, right? Are they going to sue the Department of Agriculture, who's promoting the chemicals and teaching and giving grants to learn how to spray the chemicals? Are they going to sue the grocery store? When does it end, right? And so what we did was we stopped eating whole bread, like whole grain wheat. All these things that were supposed to be really good for us, we stopped eating that because we knew that if there was going to be this herbicide chemical around that wheat, it was going to be on the whole grain. Yeah. So the gluten comes from the inside of the seed. So we have a friend that's a German baker, and what he does is he grinds his wheat, and the dark stuff goes into one bowl, giant bowl, and the white stuff goes into another one. And the white stuff has the gluten, and we don't get sick from that, right? So if I'm eating cheap Wonder Bread, I'm not getting sick. If I'm eating the other stuff, I'm getting sick. So
It's interesting.
now they say the same thing about dairy in Europe, that they'll go on a vacation to Europe and they'll be dairy intolerant here in North America. In Europe, they're not. So, yeah. So I mean, you could say the same thing. All right. So you got autism, ADHD, dementia, Alzheimer's. Symptoms are all the same, and so but they try to separate it. So they got a big group of people that are sick with all the same symptoms, but they classify them differently. The gluten intolerance, I don't buy it, but that's just based on my experience. Somebody else might have a different experience.
Right. There's people in the chat who can drink fresh cow milk but can't tolerate it from the store.
Right. It was same with us with our goat's milk. And so I was getting little brown spots on my skin, age spots. And when I drank the goat's milk, they all went away.
Interesting.
Yeah. The enzymes.
I'm listening now. I'm listening about those brown spots.
Yeah. Yeah. Unmetabolized proteins ending up in the skin, right? So, you want to be able to metabolize. Everything's metabolism. And, one of the additives that they're doing for milk right now is carrageenan. So I don't know much about it. I haven't done much research, but we don't like additives. Something else that you're probably will blow everybody's minds. The powers that be have a plan to get rid of cow's milk. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
So it's called precision fermentation, right? So they can make casein now and whey in a bioreactor. And next summer will be the first time that it's cheaper to make milk in a bioreactor than from a cow. And
that's the same thing as what they've been doing with meat too, right?
Yeah, they do have. They can make any protein. They use. Let's see. I think they're using bacterial culture or something like that to make the protein, but precision fermentation. But their plan is to actually get rid of 99% of all farmland. They don't need it anymore, because the precision fermentation can be done on 1% of the land needed.
Wow.
Now you know why the funding is all going to go in that direction. So it'll start off, they'll use this product, they'll put it in all the granola bars, chocolate bars, cake mixes, business to business type transactions. The people won't adopt it right away, right? People are smart to some degree. They're going to say, no, I don't think I want a new chemical in my body. We've already got enough. So
I've got to learn how to make cheese. I'm a cheese eater, a big
Girl,
cheese.
Same.
How to make cheese. You just don't do it.
It's hard.
Yeah. Well, I do it on Sabbath, right? So Friday night, I'll have my coffee or a cappuccino. I'll have, if the kids are eating pizza, I'm eating my pizza, and I'll do Metamucil after. And Metamucil just it absorbs most of it, so it just goes through you. But once a week, so your body's immune system mostly doesn't react right away on that first day. It reacts on the second day. So if you do, say, milk 2 days in a row, it's the second day that you're really going to feel it. So your immune system becomes hypersensitive, but there's typically a delay. So 1 day a week, that's what I chose. I don't know. Everybody has to deal with it their own way, whatever feels right for them, right?
Right. It's just scary, like the way the world is going.
Yeah, there's a lot of chemicals in the food now.
Yeah.
But we are raising smart, bright, brilliant young ladies and gentlemen like the two of
these two girls right here
that can make a difference, literally make a difference in the future of our world, which is so amazing to me. It's wonderful. So I'm going to turn the page just for a second. I have a question. It was curious to me when you were talking about English cucumbers and that they we're trying to make sure there's a number of things in the grocery store that before you used to be able to buy stuff from the grocery store. You could come home and plant it and it was fine.
Yeah.
There's a number of things now.
Potatoes,
garlic, tomatoes, even green peppers. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I did grow some cucumbers a couple of years ago, a patch of cucumbers that I wanted some English cucumbers. Only had one set of flowers. And I had vines and flowers and bees everywhere, but there were only female flowers. And I would find one little male flower that I would try to paintbrush and pollinate everything.
Yeah.
Bushes, the greenery was amazing, but we probably got 6 cucumbers off of an 8-foot super green vine.
Yeah.
And it had to have something to do with
so you need light deprivation. So you've seen the greenhouses at the garden centers, and they're not see-through plastic. It's actually a white plastic. So they do that light deprivation to trigger flowering. So if they've got marigolds in there, right, they want the marigolds to flower, but they don't want the plant to grow tall, right? They don't want it to overgrow, because some marigolds will grow waist high. And so light deprivation, and it's going to trigger the plant to flower. So the plants typically flower when the days start to get shorter. So that's what you want to do.
It's almost like kicking it into the survive versus thrive thing, because instead of it trying to push its nutrients into making itself a better plant, it would like it to survive through reproduction.
That's right.
Kind of doing that makes it kick into that faster.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why everybody's saying we need high tunnels all over the place and greenhouses and things like that in order for the future. I mean, because they're concerned we won't be able to grow in the ground eventually.
Yeah, our farm, we're only going greenhouses from this point forward. Based on what we're seeing in the world, we've just finally made that decision. We're not going to expand on our field crops. We're going to do as many greenhouses as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's probably healthier for the plants that way.
Yeah, well, you can extend the season. I mean, there's other benefits. You can control pests,
right?
A bunch of things. So
I just want to put my whole home in a bubble.
Yeah. At this point, just do it.
Right?
Wrap us all in bubble wrap. My goodness.
No, just a greenhouse so that I can grow tropical trees and fruits. And
there you go.
That's
around in my yard without the stuff floating in the sky.
Yeah.
I want to grow oranges so bad.
Right?
Yeah. There's a guy, Russ Finch, Oranges in the Snow video. It's really good. Nebraska, he grows oranges in Nebraska. So
wow.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to me where you said that your son, my grandson, has autism as well, and his diet makes the hugest difference in his personality. I mean, there's just no question that it's almost like someone turned on a switch if there's certain foods that are eaten. It's crazy.
Yeah, so we've traced it back to I had to study like a doctor in order to figure out what was going on with the autism, and we traced it back to the thyroid. So the main hormone of the thyroid is called thyroxine, and it's responsible for mitosis in the human body. And all these women were getting thyroid issues. It was the #1 prescribed medicine on the planet. And guess what? They stopped testing people for it. And then the men started getting it, right? They're prescribing to men now. And they took the women off of levothyroxine and they started putting them on Synthroid, which is the wrong medicine, just in my opinion. And but they didn't get to the root cause. What was causing this hormone to not produce? And basically, it comes down to the blood. So with the autism, the more severe the rouleau of the blood, that's when red blood cells stick together, the more severe the autism was. And this is what's happening. This is what you're seeing everywhere. So it'll take your testosterone down, make you less masculine, take your estrogen down, make you less feminine, take your thyroxine down, take your insulin down, all your hormones, because oxygen transport stops in the blood. When the red blood cells are stuck together, they cannot deliver oxygen through the capillaries to all the organs, to the glands, your pancreas, your liver, your kidneys, wherever. And that's where the issue is. So we actually, I did research on this for 6 months, trying to find out how to get the blood to separate. And what we found out was that there are anionic foods and cationic.
Yeah.
Anionic is it adds electrons, and that's how you separate your red blood cells. Cationic foods will pull your red blood cells together. So cationic foods are grown below the ground. Anionic foods are grown above the ground. And so in the wintertime, people are getting sicker and sicker. They blame a lot of it on less light, but the main diet in the winter, it's a lot of root crops, and this is not good for your blood zeta potential. You want that oxygen transport going the best it can. So anionic foods. So what we found was pine bark extract. And so we actually harvest our own pine bark. We put it in a coffee grinder. We grind it up and put it on our sandwiches, salads, soups. And you can get it on Amazon.ca. And basically, my wife, who had thyroid issues during her pregnancy with our son with autism, her thyroid issues all went away. 3 doctors could not cure her. And we got it done in about 10, 11 days.
Wow.
Wow.
One pill a day.
That's insane.
Okay, wait. Pine bark extract. I'm taking notes here. Okay.
Yeah, pine bark it's great. So how do I explain it? It has a lot of nitric acid in it, which repairs red blood cells. It's called a pycnogenol. So if you want to restore hormones, when I started taking it, we all started taking it, but I'm getting up there in age. I'm going to be 58 in April. So I couldn't keep muscles on, and being a farmer, that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
So as soon as I started taking the pine bark, I started getting muscles again.
Wow.
They all started coming back in. So they want to do these hormone blockers, but I say, no way. It's a bad idea. If you block thyroxine, then they found out that your mitochondria replicate from your thyroxine. So your ATP levels drop and your overall well-being drops from that. Yeah. And we eat sugar beet sugar now, right? Most of the sugar that we get is from sugar beets, and that's cationic. And you might not know this, but they can't get the sugar out of the sugar beet. So they use sodium hydroxide, which is the active ingredient of Drano.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So they have to use a solvent to turn it into a jelly to extract that sugar. And so and that's cationic as well. So
It's interesting.
that's something, yeah. Honey or maple syrup, that's definitely the way to go.
oh man.
A few people in the chat are allergic to pine. Do you have a substitute for what you think would work as well, or?
So grapeseed oil is supposed to be a pycnogenol. I don't know how it works though. I know that I'm pretty sure that Viagra also comes from the bark of a tree, also has high nitric acid, and they've used that.
Buy me some Viagra.
Funnily enough, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, basically the way to understand it is, so plants that are grown above the ground are designed to catch electrons out of the air. And the roots are designed to release them into the ground, because the ground is where electrons get pulled out, right?
Yeah.
And that's the best way to understand it. So the thing about the pine tree, it's actually a super anion, because it's big, way above the ground, and able to catch those electrons. So yeah, so I don't know. They could do some research, I'm sure, and find out some superanionic plants that give the blood better zeta potential. Yeah.
That's fabulous that you have done all that work. Thank you for sharing that information with us.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We do have to wrap up soon, so you can get back to your evening. But one more question. Miss Sandy wants to know if you've ever had a problem with white flies in the greenhouse.
What are they?
White fly in the greenhouse.
No, we haven't. But the insects are going to be cyclical, and they're going to be in different parts of the country. Where are they from? What?
She goes, I think, from Wyoming and Arizona. So I think usually Wyoming.
Okay, yeah. So they probably wouldn't survive up here. Way up in Canada. Yeah, most people are concerned about aphids, potato bugs, cucumber beetles, and for stuff like that, we just put the gloves on and we go out in the field with a jar. They only last for about 2 weeks, and we just do what we have to do.
Interesting. Huh. Actually, Don Ray B also wants to know if you have a recommended pine bark supplement or brand that you know of.
So first of all, the pine bark comes from it's called the maritime pine, and it originates in France. So when you get it, say you get it on Amazon, amazon.ca or amazon.com, just look and see that it says like maritime pine. It's something like the Latin is like maritime pinus or something like that. And but it looks like almost like our jack pines, the crooked pines.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing that's important to know about this is there's some folklore about the Algonquin Indians, and the early settlers called them bark eaters, because when they were going through their territory, they saw that the pine trees were cleaned of bark all the way up the tree. And I guess what had happened was, when the game meat wasn't available, they were eating the bark of the tree. So they were actually doing much bigger quantities of, like the pine bark that you get on Amazon. It's just one little capsule. So that shows that I have no concerns about how much I would consume of it because of that story that I heard.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right. Well, it's just unusual to me to see that of the 5 of us up here, 3 of us deal with autism very close to our hearts.
Yeah.
So,
It's
kind of great.
doubling
it
every
is.
3 years.
It's surprisingly more widespread than it was, like, especially like 50 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's a good reason to try to figure out why that is. And then, like, I really love the actions that you guys have taken against it. Like, just to try to stay healthier. Hey, 2%, thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, the mother, when she has a baby in gestation, I believe she produces thyroxine for the baby the first 12, 14 weeks of gestation.
Oh.
Yeah. So if that mother has thyroid issues, then the baby's not getting thyroxine, and so mitosis is not working correctly.
Right.
So my recommendation for anybody trying to have babies, or anybody that has a granddaughter or a daughter that is looking to start a family, 1 year organic diet, make sure the blood zeta potential is good. They have to look at the blood under a microscope to make sure the red blood cells are separated, so that they know for a fact that there's hormone production, correct hormone production. In my opinion, you do that, and I don't think you're going to have issues with autism, in my opinion. I think it's the smartest way to go anyway.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Hi, 2%.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You gave so much cool information, and it was a pleasure to learn about your company and your seeds. And out of curiosity, do you have like a background in biology?
No. When our son was diagnosed with autism, my wife and I, we cried for about 2 weeks. But there was no way I was going to take the advice that was being presented to us. So I researched and researched and researched, and at that time I was not really like, I was just starting to farm. Before that, I used to work Carnival Cruise Line. I was a musician, an entertainer, and I was a dumb musician, right? So I couldn't understand anything I was researching. So what I did was I created a diet to produce more L-DOPA. And basically, L-DOPA, to make L-DOPA, it goes phenylalanine into tyrosine into L-DOPA. And it only needs 2 oxygen molecules to do that. So if I ate any meat, I would eat less meat, but I would do it with glucose to trigger insulin, which had 77 oxygen molecules. And the glucose had, I think, 10 oxygen molecules. And so I put myself on that diet. Within a week, I was starting to see patterns in everything that I was researching. I didn't want to take a doctor's word for it. I wanted to see the research papers. And so I had to learn a lot of words. As you can imagine, the words in research papers, you can't hardly understand any of them. Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Half the page long for a word.
Right.
So I would research every night for about 3 years. And, my eyes were just bloodshot. But I would get these aha moments, and I would fix one thing with our son. Then I'd fix the next, and then I'd fix the next. And until, now he's on a rolls. He couldn't talk. His eyes were crossed. He couldn't go to the bathroom. So he was in diapers until kindergarten. He couldn't sleep. He was sleeping 3 hours a night. So we fixed each one of those things.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of research. Now we could reverse and significantly reverse almost every symptom, any child, within a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
We tell people that they don't bring their children to me, but we tell them, we'll write down whatever, and they'll come back 6 months later and say, "Wow, what a difference!"
Wow.
Yeah. So
Knowledge is power. We had someone saying knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
It's true.
yeah.
This is really cool.
So helpful.
So we did go a little bit over, but thank you so much for sharing with us all that you had to share. This was really, really cool. To anyone who sticks this long at the end, if you're interested in joining the collaboration, there's a video on our channel. I don't have like links or anything right now, and I'm going to block someone else if I try to pull it up. But there's a video on our channel with more information on joining. If you decide to join, we'll send you seeds for free. If not, check out Rainbow Seeds. They're a really good company with high quality seeds. And if you order, we can get you 10% off using the code using the code survival10. I do this every time. And they're just a really cool company. So we highly recommend you check them out. They're Canada based, but they do ship to US. So I think most of our viewers are either Canada or US. So you guys should be good. But thank you, Patrick, for coming and sharing all of your information with us. We really, really appreciate you.
Thank
you.
Thanks for having me. And it's nice to meet everybody.
Nice
This
to
is
meet
awesome.
you too.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, you too.
I'd love to do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
But also thank you to our coordinators, Ms. Lorrie and Ms. Ann and Trie. You guys do so much for the collaboration. We really appreciate you. And also to Bushcraft family, thank you for being our co-host and handling the herbal side of the collaboration. You do so much work for this, and we really appreciate you. And thank you to everyone in the chat for coming and sticking around this long. We really appreciate you. We're so glad that this was interesting to you guys, and we hope that this was helpful. Again, if you're interested in joining the collaboration, there's a video on it. And if you're interested in the company that Patrick runs, it's Rainbow Seeds. Go check them out. It's rainbowseeds.ca. And I think that was all I wanted to bring up. I always forget what my closing sentence was before I'm done. But thank you guys so much for coming. Val and Off Grid World and 2% and Lorrie, Mike's Chaotic Gardening. You guys are all awesome. And everyone in the chat, because there's no way I'm naming you all. I'm sorry. Thank you all so much for being here. We really, really appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Happy New Year, and we will see you right here next week. We have another interview planned. I don't remember what it is, but
Somebody.
it's somebody. I can actually check if you give me 2 seconds. I think it may be.
It's okay. It's okay.
No
I lost my
worries.
calendar. It may be Suburban. No, it's not Suburban. My calendar says I don't have anyone. We will get that figured out. But thank you so much for being here. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Stay warm.